New York State will increase spending over the next year and do it in part by raising revenue from the state's top earners. And that's just a small part of this year's massive state budget, which was approved this week by the state legislature in Albany. The $212 billion spending plan will also legalize mobile sports betting in New York, provide a huge boost in education aid, expand access to high-speed internet, and a lot more. Senate Majority Leader Andrea Stewart-Cousins.
This is all pretty incredible when you take a moment to remember the many challenges this budget brought with it: a pre-existing deficit, a global pandemic, and questions about how to best take advantage of this federal aid package and not lead to a fiscal cliff.
At the start of the year, New York's finances were bleak. The state was facing a $15 billion budget deficit over 2 years. But things turned around in early March when Congress approved about $12.5 billion in aid for New York. Now that money is being used to close the state's budget gap and fund new programs, like a $2.4 billion relief fund for tenants and landlords. Senate Housing Chair Brian Kavanaugh says that could be enough to cover the total amount of unpaid rent during the pandemic.
We're not really going to know until we get the application process up and running and we get applications in. But $2.45 billion certainly should go a long way toward covering a lot of the rent that's necessary.
And New York will also make an historic investment in education aid over the next year. Cuomo and lawmakers agreed to boost state funding for schools by $1.4 billion for a total statewide of nearly $30 billion. And that came with a commitment to send billions more to schools over the next few years as well. Jasmine Gripper is the executive director of the Alliance for Quality Education.
And so what that will mean on the ground is smaller class sizes. What it will mean is guidance counselors for every student. It means sports programs, art and music in every classroom, things that we have been severely lacking in New York State, especially in our highest need communities.
Lawmakers also agreed to set aside $2.1 billion to benefit workers who couldn't access unemployment during the pandemic. That money is targeted toward undocumented workers who aren't eligible for unemployment. The so-called Excluded Workers Fund became a contentious issue in the final days of the budget, causing a rift among Democrats in the legislature. Some were against the fund altogether, while others wanted a larger investment. That included Assemblymember Marcela Mateñas, who joined a hunger strike with advocates before the budget passed this week.
These folks have not received any money for over a year. They have families and they have children to feed. They are tired of asking. They are here putting their bodies on the line to demand that the government step in. That is our job.
And with all of that and more, New York State budget will be nearly $20 billion higher than last year. And that's partly because of what New York got from Congress. But the state is also boosting spending this year at a higher rate than past years. Patrick Orecki is with the Citizens Budget Commission, a budget analysis group.
Talking over 2 years, growing the budget from about $173 billion to $212 billion on an all-funds basis. That's a 22% change over 2 years. It is absolutely a massive, and certainly in recent times, kind of unprecedented rate of spending growth.
And that had Republicans concerned when the budget came up for a vote this week. Assemblymember Andy Goodell was one of them.
And our overall budget is more than Texas and Florida combined, even though each one of those states has more residents than we do.
But Democrats say they have a plan to pay for it. That starts with new tax hikes for corporations and high-income earners in New York. Senate Deputy Majority Leader Mike Gianaris.
We stepped forward and said it's time to change the direction of this state. It's time to make sure that those who are doing well, who, by the way, did even better while everybody else was suffering over the last year, are asked to do their fair share to help us recover.
New York will raise taxes for people making more than $1 million a year and create 2 new tax brackets for those earning more than $5 million and $25 million, respectively. And the corporate tax rate will also go up for companies that report more than $5 million in income. At the same time, state income taxes will go down for middle-income New Yorkers. And while those tax hikes are expected to raise more than $4 billion in new revenue for the next year, some say it's a risky move for New York. Here's Orecki again.
The first is that you have kind of an out-migration risk either individuals or businesses choosing to live more or entirely in other states where they can save a little bit on their tax bill. You also have the risk of adding more tax liability onto a very small segment of the population.
But not everyone agrees with that. Ron Deutsch is the executive director of New Yorkers for Fiscal Fairness, a group that supports the tax hikes. He says that since New York last raised taxes on the rich more than a decade ago, the state has actually gained millionaires, not lost them.
After we did this in 2009, when we initiated a millionaire's tax, since that point in time, the number of millionaires has doubled in New York. Gone from about 27,000 to about 57,000 right now, as of 2019.
Also on the revenue side, New York will legalize online sports betting this year, but it'll be a little while before that starts. The State Gaming Commission will be in charge of setting up the new industry, which is expected to generate about $500 million in revenue for the state by 2026. But the budget also included some major policy items, like a new plan to expand access to high-speed internet in New York. Most internet service providers will now have to provide high-speed internet to low-income customers for $15 a month. That's for the base plan, but customers can also pay a few dollars more for higher speeds. That starts in 2 months. And the state will also study broadband access and affordability over the next year to determine next steps. That's been a top issue for Senator Michelle Hinchey, a Democrat.
Many of our communities both either can't afford broadband or they don't have access to it because of the infrastructure. And so making sure that we have in our budget a real plan that is affordable to make sure that everybody, no matter who you are, can get access to the internet is critically important.
And after the COVID-19 pandemic killed more than 13,000 residents in New York's nursing homes over the past year, lawmakers are making changes to how those facilities can use their money. Now, nursing homes will have to spend at least 70% of their revenue on direct patient care, and 40% will have to be spent on staffing. Senate Health Chair Gustavo Rivera said that's to make sure residents are getting the care they need and keep facilities in check.
It is to make certain that most of the money that goes to these facilities are used for patient care. It is a way to dissuade those bad actors who might be getting into this just to make money. Ultimately, what you should be focusing on is taking care of people, and that is what part of what we did today does.
All in all, this year's state budget included a lot of the priorities Democrats pushed for this year, and more could be ahead in the next few weeks. Lawmakers have a week off, but are expected to return to Albany in late April. The legislative session is scheduled to end in early June.